Hello everyone and welcome to the Corporate Sister TV. My name is Solange Lopes and I'm the founder of the Corporate Sister website and brand. In today's video, we are discussing mental health, more specifically, how and why we should commit as working women and working moms to caring for our mental health, not just as an indulgent act of periodic self-care, but as a continuous commitment to our minds and to our mental and spiritual health in general. Mental health is a topic with a lot of stigma around it. It has been for the longest time, especially for us as working women, especially for us as women in general, because we have been so used and conditioned to dealing with so much, to juggling so many responsibilities. And the more responsibilities we juggle, the more there is this presumption and this assumption that we're just able to handle it all with grace, optimism, motivation, and most importantly, without complaining. As such, it's really reinforced the stigma around the importance of mental health and the stigma around caring for one's mental health, especially through practices such as therapy, for instance. Therapy has long been associated with not being able to cope with one's life, or not being able to carry one's burden, or needing extra help to be able to, quote unquote, handle your business. This is especially relevant among overachieving women for whom doing it all and having it all is just a consistent and continuous challenge. And in the midst of this continuous challenge, what happens is that many overachieving women and many women in general tend to neglect their mental health, especially not just as women, but also as working moms. We're just told to keep going, to keep going, to keep breaking the next glass ceiling and destroying the next concrete wall and doing all of our pickups and drop-offs and taking care of the home and the kids and our careers or our businesses, our marriages and relationships, and answering all of our texts on time while still being able to fold all the laundry on time without uttering a peep, without complaining, and without having to resort to extra help such as therapy or other mental health practices, right? Right. And what is this doing in turn? It's just hurting us. It continues to hurt us, judging by the alarming rates of depression and suicide among women in general, and working women and working moms in particular. And through this episode, I really wanted for us to take the time to not just think about our mental health, but really deeply delve into the stigma associated with caring for our mental health and dispel some of the most prevalent myths around it. The first myth being resorting to therapy or other mental health practices is a display of weakness instead of a display of strength, right? Wrong. This is a very prevalent myth that keeps so many of us from really actively caring for our mental health, and especially caring for our mental health when we suspect that we're having issues or that we're having a hard time. Caring for one's mind is actually an act of extraordinary strength and courage, an act that really says to ourselves and that says to the world, I want to be whole. I want to be healthy mentally and spiritually, not just for myself, but also for the people I'm around, the people I tend to influence. And if we think about it, working women and working moms in particular are the proverbial influencers. We influence our communities every single day, every single minute of every single day. As we raise children, we influence our children through the way they think, through the way they see the world, and most importantly, through the way they see themselves. We influence each other in our relationships with each other, in our interactions with each other, whether it's personally or professionally. And this interaction and this influence that we have on each other is so important that we cannot afford not to care for our mental health and to bleed on and hurt the people around us, whether directly or indirectly. Our mental health affects others. It affects our families. It affects all people who are in relationships with us. So another myth that is necessary to dispel is that mental health is personal and private. It is not personal or private. It has an incredible and persistent effect on each and every single person around us. Hence the necessity to commit to caring for it so that we don't just hurt ourselves, but we also don't hurt people around us. Last but not least, the last myth that is necessary to dispel around mental health for working women and working moms is that our minds are not as important as our bodies. Right? Wrong. In the same way that we go to the doctors for regular physicals, that, we call our primary care physician when we notice something not quite right on our bodies or related to our health. In the same way, our minds are so crucial to our growth, our development, and our overall health that they should also be taken care of with as much, if not more, regularity than our bodies. Let's not forget that our minds are our principal assets. That's the battleground where we form our thoughts, where our values and beliefs reside, where we learn to see the world and to see others. And based on this perception of the world and this perception of other people, that is how we construct our own world and define our own trajectory and path in life. Understanding that our minds are crucial as assets and that they deserve as much, if not more, care than our bodies really puts us as working women and working moms in a position of advantage. So these are the three main myths that I wanted to talk about and that I wanted to dispel around mental health for working women and working moms, as I encourage us all, myself included, to commit and recommit to taking care of our minds. For some of us, it may be consistent and regular therapy. For others, it may be other types of mental health practices. Whatever it is for you, and if you're not sure what that could be, I invite you to try different forms of mental health practices to see which one resonates most with you. But what I urge us all not to do is to wait until it's either too late or until we're significantly morally, mentally, and spiritually damaged to seek some help. So I would be curious to see what your own thoughts are on this topic. If you've already started a process of mental health care for yourself, and if you can share it with our audience, what your current processes are, so that we can all encourage each other to really reprioritize our minds as our main assets and commit or recommit to caring for our mental health as working women and working moms. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.